Code A, Day3, ForGG, Percival, Party, Zest. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2021 GSL Season 2.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the final day of the GSL Code A. After our two best of fives tonight, we will go to the group selection, and then we have a week off. We go right to Code S.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, at Code S, you can come in and be in the audience.
What?
Is this 2 years ago or the future, Tasteless? I don't know.
It better not be 2 years ago because I don't want to go through Corona again. Look, we are going to be selling tickets. It's going to be on Friday, I believe, at 5 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
We'll have more information in our graphics as the show goes on, but there's going to be 30 seats available. You can buy up to 2 seats, so you and a friend, and you got to buy them fast because I have to imagine these seats are going to sell out. These tickets are going to sell out, I should say, pretty quickly. But starting next week, at last, we're going to have some people in the audience, and as things continue to improve out here, we will eventually have big, packed audiences.
You can see the racial distribution going into Code S today. We will have a Terran and a Protoss advancing, so it's a 7-4-5 that we're going to be seeing here. Wow, a lot of Terrans this season, huh?
Yeah. Not today, though. Just one Terran here. We've got Protosses all around, and what am I saying? Yeah.
No. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Sitting
Our
here
toes are
watching
not
you.
warmed up. I was doing our segment on the tickets and I didn't watch the graphics.
Okay. Well, the matches today, this is actually the day I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
4GG, like, you never know what game he's pro at a given time, it seems. He was in KSL a couple years ago. You know, he's been back and streaming a lot of StarCraft 2 more recently. Here he is in Code A. Going up against Percival, who is the up-and-coming Korean player that is kind of exciting everyone the most.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 players that are easily top 8 Code S material that they're going to, one of them is going to get eliminated, which is insane, Parting and Zest. And that's going to be an awesome PvP.
That is going to be really fun to have here. It's fun at 4GG here. This guy is really, truly one of the most storied StarCraft players. Not just a legend from StarCraft 1, but he's had a lot of success at StarCraft 2, and he's really gone back and forth between both titles, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
We've really only had that with Rain, but I feel like Rain was really on and off with each game, and then went back into StarCraft 1, and then hasn't played StarCraft, as far as I understand, in any serious way.
This is actually the first time we've seen what 4GG has done, which is he was a StarCraft 2 pro. I believe he went to military, came out, became a StarCraft 1 pro again, getting into KSL, and then stopped that, and now is back into GSL.
So I think he was in StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So he literally has had 3 game changes now.
That's very unusual.
He's the only player that's ever done that.
And we've had plenty of players that from Brood War did the massive switch over when all the Kespa players switched over, but it's interesting to see ones that were extremely dominant in StarCraft 1 then stay in StarCraft 2. I think a lot of people would say that 4GG might even have more success in StarCraft 1, but he says StarCraft 2 suits his style, and he's enjoying it more.
He's actually right about that. He was an MSL champion one time, guys, which is one of the big star leagues from old StarCraft 1.
Right.
But he was an extremely technical Terran player, and I would definitely agree. Like, his style doesn't. Like, you have to really revamp yourself right now in StarCraft 1. It's a very different style required from Terran. So I think StarCraft 2 really does fit him a bit better.
Yeah, and we're going to see how he fares against Percival. Percival, basically the newest player that we have here. Him and then Jown, as well. But Percival repping the new Terrans, this new generation. We're going to go on to the map Lightshade. This is 4GG versus Percival in a best of 5.
ForGG.
Careful, Tasteless. I just heard you take a sip of your coffee. ASMR not allowed, tasteless.
This is banned. I don't know if my coffee sips count as ASMR. Between my coffee sips and my throat clears, I don't know if I think it might be anti-ASMR here.
Yeah.
That's one thing you
I
get.
can see your butt, tasteless. I'm reporting you.
I'm going to cast this with my butt in the camera, all right?
God.
The stream meta.
Stream meta.
Just a spiral down.
I don't know why these idiots don't just grind StarCraft 1 ladder all day. It's a true way. All right, double gas, both sides. I'm really excited about this match because ForGG is like a super experienced player, but obviously he hasn't been in GSL for a long time. He did spend a lot of time on StarCraft 1 when he came back originally.
Well,
and then you have Percival, who's like, this is the youngest player out here that's got a lot of potential. Everyone, all the Korean pros kind of agree that he has probably the most potential out of all the new players. We wouldn't really count Zaun as like he's now coming up and stuff, but like he's been around, you know?
Right.
Whereas Percival is like truly actually new, like has been playing for like a year, you know? So
yeah, it's no, Zaun is new in the sense that he hasn't been in many GSL broadcasts,
Yeah,
I guess is one
exactly.
way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, ForGG has been around for so long that in a lot of ways this is all he knows, is sitting on major stages and playing. And
Totally.
these are the guys that are completely unfazed and in some senses probably play even better under these kind of circumstances.
Yeah, might be. I think he's a reasonably clutch player. He's got some championships under his belt. If I'm recalling correctly, he had like the sick DreamHack win once upon a time. He had obviously the MSL way back in the day. It was very exciting when he switched over to StarCraft 2 originally. If I'm recalling again correctly, he did it a little bit ahead of the Kespa wave, to the point where he was actually the most successful StarCraft 1 player that was in StarCraft 2 at a point. If you don't count like the old success, right? Like modern success.
Right.
When he switched over, if that makes sense. So it's like you don't count Nada because it was a long time since he won a championship, whereas ForGG was more recent.
Yeah,
But-
well, I mean, the way that people played RTS back then is so different now. And it's not that, I mean, they were really geniuses of their time, but there's just more that we know. There's more. Like, for instance, there was a period in time when people didn't know how to micro mutas.
Oh, yeah.
And the game was just totally different.
Yeah.
Like, when mutas attacked, you just see them sitting there flying over stuff, damaging things. People didn't know to kind of ping-pong them in these attacks using that new micro technique. In this game, we have Percival immediately diving and getting the kill onto ForGG's SCV.
And trying to attack up this ramp a little bit. Obviously, the wall going to slow him down. The Cyclone comes out, so he does have to vacate the premises. And ForGG going to be completely fine, but his command center does get a little bit stalled out.
Another attack comes in over here. And I don't know how much more damage Percival's going to get away with. The mines are coming down, but ForGG avoids them pretty easily here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see him pop in there and do that again, but he actually had excellent control, and that was a good call because he really did not lose that much. Traded a Reaper for Reaper, that's fine. And he had potential, you know, maybe you kill that SCV again and slow it even more. But Percival now getting his own Cyclone, getting a Raven as well. Medevac on the way for ForGG, so he's definitely going to try to put on a bit of counter pressure here.
We've got ForGG poking down. But the Reapers are actually going to be aiming up towards the main here. There's Marines here to deflect this as well.
That's a great kill on those two. Good catch.
Yeah, does come in there and just, you see a little bit of the development because there's so many Marines up in that area. The Raven's going to be coming down here as well now. And Percival's going to go ahead and lose out on these Hellions as well as those Reapers earlier. And the first Raven is out ahead of the first Raven for ForGG, right? He didn't make a Raven back there. I think it was a Medevac I thought I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here comes that Medevac now. Flies right into Percival's Cyclone.
Yeah, got to be careful. I think this is going to be just a kill. I mean,
boy.
making it look easy here.
And not just that, but like, oh no. Percival right now is up like 7 workers, Tasteless.
Well, not only that, I mean, I think ForGG way overestimated the advantage that he had here. And that he might be able to come in here and do some real damage after the Hellions and the Reapers are killed off, but clearly not. I mean, a lone Cyclone kills that, and this actually catapults Percival ahead quite a bit.
Yeah, he's
going to both attack and expand, which I think you actually can do in this situation because you are in such a good position, and actually takes out that Cyclone. And I may be wrong, but I think it's possible this game just ends.
It is. Like, this command center can definitely get canceled. We'll see how he actually ends up engaging. Throws down an auto turret, maybe a little bit premature there, but Siege is up as well. And look at that, gonna throw down the double auto turret. It'd be better if he could target, there you go, targets the tank, brings up another Siege tank of his own, and he did force that cancel. I think ForGG holds on. But Percival is...
Well, he's eons
all
ahead here.
over him, man. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he has his third command center close to finishing, and he's still able to basically put adequate pressure onto ForGG is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, can you push into here? I think it's going to depend on whether or not ForGG is going to be able to scan and check, but he doesn't have any air support, so, I mean, the first shot goes to these tanks, which are targeted on these Marines, and he might be able to just go in there, if he can avoid auto turrets, and just...
Gosh, there's so much more energy on ForGG's Ravens that I feel like it would be a really bad move to move in. Like, that's the only way that you're going to let ForGG have a chance.
Well, Percival agrees with you, Artosis. He's turned around here.
Yeah, it's just between disables and auto turrets, like he has a lot more energy. Oh, and look at that, he actually disables both the Vikings so that he does not end up losing this. But that means that he can move forward a little bit, right? The Vikings not as important.
Okay, he's just going to close. I don't know, man. I don't know if ForGG can last this much longer. I mean, there's been a few trades here, but mostly it's been domination here by Percival.
Yeah.
The Vikings going to come in here. He still is able to spot. That's going to be handy for the siege tanks. Landing the Vikings over here to protect the tanks as well. And he actually targets that perfectly. Percival, and I think one of the most dominant TVTs of the entire year for us in casting, just happened.
He really smashed him, like really truly smashed ForGG there. It seemed like ForGG's early game was okay, like he opened up, right, he skipped the Hellion, so he lost an SCV, that's fine. Of course that puts him back a couple SCVs because then his command center isn't finishing as quickly, and just over time it seems like Percival had everything in the right positions, pressured at the right times, defended correctly, and just got eons ahead immediately. So very well done from Percival, but it's just one game.
Yeah. I got a lot to say about the situation. This is a little nerve-wracking, I think, for ForGG, even if he is such a veteran and has been an MSL champion. That, by the way, was the first live event I ever watched, Artosis, was Fantasy Winning. Did you know that?
Fantasy Winning? Oh, the...
Or ForGG Winning. Excuse me, what am I saying?
Oh,
yeah.
ForGG versus Jadong?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
All right, guys, we're going to go to game 2 here. And we got to see how exactly this is going to be handled here. ForGG getting a little bit outclassed. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this situation. You know, we've made this joke, like, I think actually years ago. If you're a chess pro, what's the scariest opponent to go against?
Alpha Zero?
No, that was the wrong answer, Artosis. The correct answer was like some 6-year-old prodigy.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Sure.
Or you've spent your entire life playing the game and mastering it. And you have such a plethora, not just of knowledge and experience in the game, but you have the experience of playing at events, playing at tournaments or at clubs. And then a kid comes along who has been, I guess you could say, a prodigy, and has been groomed by his elders to be good. And that kind of, I'm getting those vibes here from Percival.
Yeah?
You know?
Okay.
He played so much better in pretty much every decision, even to turn away for a second to regroup before pushing in and adding more pressure. The way he handled the drop that came in with the Cyclone and just very comfortably got the medevac, knew exactly how many SCVs to repair to pull in time, didn't overcompensate by defending his main, defended his natural as well. ForGG was very greatly outclassed, and whenever you're one of these older, much more experienced players, one of the last things you want to lose to is somebody who's pretty brand new.
Hurts less, I guess, to lose to, you know, you play against like Innovation. You're like, well, he's Innovation.
Yeah, he's won so many games.
The untried, the untested in Percival.
Percival, I think you and I and a lot of other people are trying to get a gauge on still where he's at, right? We haven't gotten to cast that many games of him. We do know that a lot of people are saying he's like the new thing, the new young guy.
Yeah.
But we saw that back there with that last game where ForGG just got wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, he looked a hell of a lot better. I guess we'll just have to see, though, right? Like, it was one game. Some stuff went wrong, but maybe ForGG rallies out of that and does all right here. Reaper's just kind of scouting out on both sides. Mirrored builds here for the two Terrans. So that was the first live event you went to, was Jaedong versus ForGG?
I believe so.
Wow.
I believe so.
That's cool. Honestly, I don't think that was really that good of a finals.
I was eating
weird
a hot,
technical builds and Jaedong lost.
I was eating
like,
a
you guys
hot dog in the background. I remember because there was a shot of me, and I was in the audience, and I'm sticking a hot dog in my mouth. And then I went back, and people said they saw me eating a hot dog. I thought, oh, that's weird, because I was having a hot dog.
Well, that's how you'll always be remembered.
Yeah, that's that was my big mark on history.
Yeah, that's funny. Those CCs going to be finishing up relatively soon here. Starport a bit quicker here for ForGG. Playing the defensive game. Looks like he's going to be making a siege tank here. No Cyclone for him. A little 2 Hellion, 3 Reaper push out is coming. ForGG trying to skimp on that a little bit. Now, let's see, is that how close to finishing is that command center?
It should be right about done.
Yeah, he's just in time. That's actually really nice for ForGG, but he is going to lose a couple SCVs still.
So he's driven away, but only for a little bit. We have the tank coming out now.
He's trying to play just like slightly greedier, right? Like these openers generally turn into 2 Hellion, 3 Reaper fights.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're skipping a Reaper and a Hellion, it's like, okay, well, you know, your opponent, if they come across the map and pressure you, this is what it's going to look like. Of course, it does put him up a siege tank, so that's something.
Now, in the last game we had, after an event that was somewhat similar to what happened in this game, we had the Hellions try to come in and kill some SCVs. We had the Reapers jump into the main to scout. Let's see what happens this time. That did seem to trigger ForGG into a decision tree where he said, okay, I can drop and do damage, and it was completely not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if ForGG could do anything differently from that last game, it would be not to be too aggressive.
Well, yeah, he ended up losing a bit too much and couldn't really do anything from there. Even losing that Cyclone in the bush in the middle was like, oh man, nothing's going right here.
You need to save something in some of those fights, or you do just lose on 2 bases like that. It was one of the rare moments where in a game that early, you get to see a player just immediately move out.
Yeah, the punishes were really good.
Expand and attack.
Yeah.
Which is not ever supposed to be the case, but if you've got that many things that went right for you, you can get away with a lot, and Percival did that.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see if that's going to be something that he can continue, because sometimes you see a move like that from a newer player, and you're like, oh god, does this guy have that type of star sense? Like, does he have that type of read on the game? And sometimes it's yes, and sometimes it's no, he's actually normally too aggressive, and this time it was perfect, you know? So it's really hard to still put like a number on Percival, right? About like how good this is versus how it just like kind of worked out. Now
so,
he's moving out. He's got a decent army here. You can definitely deny that third for a bit.
Yeah, let's see if ForGG's watching his tanks when he moves down, because I think he's not expecting for these tanks to already be here. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He does back away. But it's just tanks.
Yeah, ForGG, I think he'll be fine pushing through this, though, right? Like, he's got 3 Vikings and a Raven, so you see that scan going off. That's because he knows that the siege tank count from ForGG can pulverize his siege line if it comes up. So he might throw, I was going to say, he might throw another scan down. Look at this, immediately jumps upon it. Beautifully done. Auto turrets coming out. Percival with that killer instinct once again.
Seeing here?
You're seeing smashing.
Oh my god, Percival. Okay, so.
Dude. That was good.
You know, moments like that are where it looks like one player has such a better grasp on the entire early game than the other.
Yeah.
That you almost want to send ForGG back to the lab.
Well,
I mean, apparently the way that you're approaching this, like Percival is so ready to come out ahead of this. Dude, we've been live for 21 minutes.
No, I know.
Some of this is zooming camera shots and this is like the quickest a TVT could possibly be right now.
It truly is. But
Get that one
Yeah,
piano
you see
key.
4GG is not very happy with what's going on here.
Boom. For Artos, this is what he thinks 1A with Protoss sounds like. Ready? Wait. Boom. 1. All right, wait. Right, 1A. Boom. Boom. Okay, so 2,000 atmospheres. I don't even feel like I'm warmed up yet for the cast, guys. I hope this gets a little bit closer, because if not, this is going to be a record short TVT where Percival might be the chosen one.
Maybe. 4GG trying to cut some corners here and get heavier siege tank counts and stuff, but not playing the mind games correctly there with those siege tanks, just playing as if Percival's a ladder opponent.
Yeah. We're going to go into Game 3, guys, and let's hope that 4GG can play a little bit better.
ForGG. Team NV, Percival.
So I want to mention about that last game, because I just mentioned that I think that 4GG is playing as if he's playing against like a ladder opponent, and the way that you can tell that is, right, he has 4 tanks against 2, and then he has 3 Vikings and a Raven there. So that's like a pretty formidable force. But Percival scanned, right? And I'm like, okay, he's scanning here because he knows that those tanks can kill him, kill his army, right? Like, the tanks shoot further than they can see, so he's getting that extra vision.
Right.
Because he doesn't have air control. And then I was mentioning he's going to probably scan again now, because you wait for the scan to run out, because the scan has to run out, and then they can unsiege and move forward, right? Because you can't do it while you're being scanned. And so the scan ran out, and he waited a moment, because there's a little bit of mind games here, and then he scanned again to see it happening, and then he just attacked because he saw the unsiege move forward, because you need to do that, otherwise your opponent gets the first volley and you're screwed. And the thing is, like, I'm saying that, and if I know that, 4GG knows that, right? This is a championship player from the past. It's not as if he doesn't know how the siege tanks function, how you use scans for vision. So the fact that he's not on top of something like that, it feels like it's either a not refined 4GG or he's underestimating Percival, right? Because you got to give a certain amount of respect. Like, do you think Maru's going to die to Percival like we just saw there? No, he is. I guarantee you he is not. He probably won't open like 4GG either, but I'm just saying, like, that little scan mind game thing that's going on, like, 4GG just didn't play it, and so he died.
It does seem like 4GG did enter this not truly respecting the early game capabilities of Percival. Yeah. I will say that. Like, Percival is looking extremely explosive. I mean, he basically set up a 1-2 punch to bring us into Game 3 here. I mean, he scanned, he saw the 4 tanks, and I know this is very kind of rudimentary stuff here for StarCraft, but if you're unsieging your tanks and moving them, that's right when they get killed.
Yeah.
And he scanned again, and the unsiege came, and I'm like, yeah, that's... I mean, when you're teaching somebody StarCraft in one of their first games and they don't know how to beat the tanks, you say, well, you got to wait till they unsiege them. Look for an opportunity when they can't fire first, and that's literally what happened. And 4GG basically waited for the first scan to expire and then was like, all right, now. And then the second scan came, and he just ran in and got him. So I think we need to have a much more cautious 4GG coming into this.
All right, Percival moving across the map with a couple Hellions and 3 Reapers. We were talking about this before. And look, once again, it's 1 Hellion, 2 Reapers from 4GG. So it seems, okay, yeah, like he's basically doing it like we saw before. Oh, he made a mine.
Oh, I actually missed that.
Yeah, but that gets rid of one of them. So he actually has an army that can beat this right now. So this is a much better opening already.
Yeah, nice mines, actually.
Yeah, that was very nicely done.
It was about as good as you could do, considering he still lost that fight.
So 4GG with the little change here, and actually dominates in this early little moment.
And an immediate counterattack. Now, I don't know how prepared Percival's going to be. That's the big question here, because in the first game, 4GG won a fight. It took a little bit longer to win and did this, and it didn't work out. But this time around, a Cyclone's ready. The question is, he does not have a good read on this.
Yeah,
'Cause
he's
this
going
is-
across. I mean, it has potential to do some damage, but
The distance between these two medevacs right now for the direction they're going in, this is about as good as you could ever ask for 4GG.
Truly, you can't even turn around as Percival. You just got to deal with what you have and try to get your counter.
Literally in between the two bases, so I mean the tempo in this fight is so good right now for 4GG. And this is a much better game from him. This is what we needed to see.
Yeah, no, he's doing it great. Like, he had the great defense. He changed up his build a little bit there. Look at this. Oh, just barely does not get that medevac, but the SUV is going to get pulled. He is going to clean this up. And definitely it does look like we're going to get better damage out of 4GG's drop by a considerable amount. Like, look, he's got 10 SCVs compared to 4 right now.
And this is one we're going to see Percival on the ropes, and we'll see how he can handle this. But I mean, the last couple games, everything went perfectly. So let's see how Percival handles a much more bumpy ride. Oh, that's how. All right, 4GG wins that.
It's too much. Yeah, so that's a better opener. I think he's starting to get a feel for the way that Percival is playing. Right? Like, Percival wants to be out there. He wants to be mixing it up a little bit early. And he basically had a counter to what Percival was doing. That, again, the 2 Hellion 3 Reapers thing is something you see fight against itself a lot in Terran vs. Terran. But instead, he got out a quick mine, burrowed it at the front, popped out 2 Marines after the 2 Reapers, and he just smashed the attack and then insta went across the map. Very well done by 4GG. Can he continue it into Romanticide?
We're going to see. I think we might need to see some small adjustments from Percival. I think he was trying the same stuff. You know, and it was working so well, but I mean, 4GG is adapting, he is adjusting. And I think especially when Percival decided to continue on with the aggression, that was a big mistake there. Anyways, guys, game number 4 is already here. Percival right now with a 2-1 lead versus 4GG.
ForGG. Team NV, Percival.
I bit my cheek earlier today eating food.
Oh.
And now it's swollen, and I keep casting and occasionally biting my cheek.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
This
talking
is
about.
terrible.
Yeah. That's, I've had that happen where it's like you'll just be sitting there talking or something, and then like your swollen cheek just kind of gets half bit again. You're like,
and I go,
damn, this is not
yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the cast for me today here. So, I mean, these are TVTs where we're barely even getting to see a third base get mined. And it may be that way for the rest of tonight. I mean, these guys are both super punchy TVT players.
Super punchy.
Punchy, man.
I like it.
And, I mean, again, it may just continue on like that here tonight, where we have...
Isn't punchy a term in boxing?
I thought it was.
I
That's
think
why
it's like
I
a
said
term in... Isn't it a term in boxing for someone that's like been punched too much or something?
I thought it was somebody who really takes a lot of punches. Like,
yeah,
punches
that's what I'm
at
saying.
them, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the opposite of that. Not. Oh, you mean is striking a lot? Is what you're trying to say?
I thought that it was like if you're punchy, it means like you're like dazed or something from punches. I feel like I saw it in a Rocky movie. Rocky movies are great, by the way.
I've actually never seen one.
You've never seen Rocky?
No. So this is what having an immediate impact or forceful.
Okay, but is there like another definition?
Artos is kind of like. No, that's it. Another term for punch drunk.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
Yeah, well, that's what I was. We both meant different
What's
things.
the definition of punch drunk then?
Punch drunk. It's like
person.
when you're dazed from being punched too much, I believe.
No, I think
that's when you're punchy.
Again. I think you're 0-2. This is looking like 4GG losses here. No, stupefied by a series of heavy blows to the head.
Exactly. That's
punch
what I said.
drunk.
Yes.
What do you know?
All right. So I'm glad that we got that out of the way.
We've solved it. Now, in this game, is it going to be that dramatic at the start? I mean, a lot of TVTs are not, by the way. So it's kind of exciting to see these guys are really going blow for blow here.
Yeah, let's
I
see.
bit that cheek again, man. It's driving me crazy. Every time I talk a little bit more, I bite it again, and it's getting bigger and bigger.
Damn, man. You should put a bunch of ice in your mouth.
That'll help.
Yeah, it'll put the swelling down.
That'll make this the ASMR of me casting with ice clicking on my teeth.
He's got the mine out here again. So let's see if Percival dodges. Okay, he checks. He knows that it's there. He's going to actually eat the mine purposefully, take out the mine.
Okay, not bad. Still a
That's
Hellion
a good
over
move,
here.
But I think he runs now. I think the move is that you run right now. You definitely don't check the ramp.
I think he wants some control shots at the ramp right when they come down for mines, and then he runs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's exactly what it is.
So,
He'll control the ramp with mines, then back up because he knows he can't really actually do anything here.
And, you know, he's done a really good job with those mines.
Yes.
This is some beyond stuff right here.
That was great. That was, yeah, I think that was actually very good. That was good counterplay because...
Oh, here we go again.
ForGG counterplayed what Percival's doing, and now Percival counterplayed what ForGG's counterplay was, right? Trading a Hellion for that mine is actually a fine trade. And then he controls it a little bit. You're like basically missing a little bit of mining time, maybe losing one extra unit down the ramp. Good stuff. Now the 3 Hellions, or Reapers rather, immediately counterattacking as well as the Hellion. Now as long as he can defend at home, this was a great move. Look at this. 5 SCVs for these units that don't scale.
Yeah, that's incredible. And now he just barely has enough to basically take a fight here.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's going to continue to chip away at this. Now,
Dude.
This should be far enough away it actually survives, even with a scan or something else like that. But a really, really, really good back and forth so far here. But I think Percival, again, just kind of comes out on top.
Yes, for sure. I think that was like... I'm actually digging this series. I want to see them play like a best of 9 because, like, ForGG finally kind of smartened up to what was going on and countered it, and now he's gotten countered. And that was a beautiful counter to his counter, right? Like,
yeah.
Percival defended everything well, and he really utilized those units that weren't going to do much else for him this game. Awesomely done by Percival. I'm a fan from what I've seen so far in this series.
Now, Percival, this is one of those moments where Percival's close enough and ForGG's far away enough. I don't like this very much for ForGG. He's going to be in between the 2 bases as this attack comes in. And here we go. Another attack comes right in here. Oh, my God. Almost kills that off.
Yeah, backs up. You got to be careful not to overcommit here. Things can go wrong.
Yeah, I'm always interested now in how Percival kind of does the footsies game here with these different units. The drop comes in. It's in the blind spot of Percival's base.
Yeah, that might end up being very, very good.
And does he sense that there's a lack of units and a lack of a medevac here? He saw a medevac earlier, and there's not one here now. He technically should know.
Big move here from ForGG. Needs to get on top of it, though. Feels like he was definitely doing something at home there for a moment, but this is a lot of SCVs killed. Oh, the fact that he's fighting with his SCVs kind of tells the story.
Yeah, 10 kills
good.
already. The Vikings and the SCVs will kill this, but not before a dozen workers fall already. And Percival hasn't really gotten any better position as this happens.
13 SCVs
It's
there.
a lot, man. And the lead is gone. Now, that being said, the 3rd CC has landed at the 3rd base here for Percival.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Percival still has good tech, right? He's got 2 Ravens, very high energy. He's got a good siege tank count. Not a lot of units down here right this second, but he is sending some more down for reinforcements. All right, auto turrets going down. Maybe a couple too many there.
Yeah, a bit excessive, I'd say, but
yeah.
I think the idea was definitely there is to get rid of the tanks and to push away Percival.
But he actually doesn't push all the way to secure this base. And now, look at this. The Vikings coming up. Oh, man. Percival's... I like this move from him once again.
Kind of
He's picking off
targeting
Ravens.
there.
He's picking off siege tanks.
Is this actually enough, though?
No.
He's disabled that 1 tank in the back. There's reinforcements coming here. And I think this is just squishy enough that that tank in the front lives, which is insane to me.
Okay.
I wasn't ready for that. Can he actually just dive the Viking over there? I guess it's not worth it with the Hellion.
Yeah, it's too low. Like, if it was full health, maybe you could consider.
He's going to do it again.
Okay, well, this is finally going to get cleared. ForGG, though, having to pull some SCVs here as well. Ends up losing one of the tanks. Percival maybe overstaying his welcome just slightly, but is up 5 workers. He's mining from his 3rd base already, whereas ForGG just finishing up his orbital. Going to have to send that down. Looks like ForGG is going to go into mech play here, and that is going to be against, I think, bio play. We have double medevac and a marine. Okay, there you go. 1-1 on the way for Percival. So I have to say, on ForGG's side, it's definitely very good that he's going mech, because if he was going bio here, I would have no faith in him winning. I mean, if you're just going for the same thing as your opponent, but you're behind, that is much worse than going for something completely different and being behind.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've already decided to participate in a race you're losing.
Yeah.
So, ForGG is going to get into, I think, an area where his TVT is going to be even better, although I think he's looked quite strong in the early game in a lot of these, despite losing more than one might expect. He is definitely, I think, going to be in better condition to take Percival on in the mid-game. And I'm excited to see these two guys interact in a game that's going to be longer like this one here.
All right, diving everything out here for Percival. Looks like he wants to be on the fringes here, checking out what's what. Is there going to be a fourth base taken? Walking up slowly to check that out. Little scan going down as well, just kind of seeing what's at those rally points. And I think at this point, like, the fact that you see any Hellions right now kind of tells you that it's mech. You wouldn't just make some Hellions right now. I mean, Hellions are an early game unit or a mech unit.
Look at how there's two different paths. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're going to regroup. I thought it was very interesting if it was going to be all the tanks at the bottom and the infantry on the right. I was about to say, what's the deal with that? That's going to be cool. But he's going to regroup now. When you go for mech, you're stronger the longer you can get tanks up. And he's already got some tanks up, but this might be an interesting moment to try to press in and do a little bit more damage.
Percival has 8 Vikings right now, and it's going against 10 Vikings from ForGG, so I think that he has kind of put himself into an Sky Terran arms race, which means he probably should not be able to do any damage to ForGG, because he'll be spending too much money on Vikings, right? Like, if you're going really full kilter into bio, then you have opportunities for a bust. In this type of situation, it looks like one where Percival is probably going to have to grind ForGG out, which is going to be really good to see how he deals with a situation like that, because it's very different from the games we've seen so far, which have just been fast and furious.
Tanks have regrouped over here, and I believe Percival can't push in.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the more I look at this, the more I'm like getting anxious if he actually tries to. Pretty nice job with the Raven, though. He could actually win this air fight and drive this away.
This is so funny. There's like there's no anti-air. There's not even, if there was a single turret, you could fly to it, you know? He picks off the Raven, not bad. Just trying to outweight this. And as he has more Vikings popping out, he just turns and fights.
I mean, this is pretty insane.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see. I think, okay, from here, Percival actually has the opportunity to change his mind and not go pure Viking from here.
Oh, hold up. Oh, wow, I thought ForGG was going to step into that. I'm like, not in a million years, man.
That is... Yeah,
that
imagine him attacking down there.
Is lava.
Dude, that is the end of Terminator 2, man. That's you do not want to go down there.
Oh, the tanks are going to go around, and now Percival can actually just run in here. This is like a huge mistake by ForGG. And if there was one way he could lose this game, it would be this way. I can't believe
you can't just do a big mech counterattack when he's right outside your base. What do you...
Yeah.
Like, is he counting on Percival unsieging and going home with all his units? Is that the...
I have no idea. I mean, look, he will also have to deal with this push down here, but I think if there was any way to lose a game right now for ForGG, this was it. I mean, it's so obvious that Stim, Marine Marauder, and a couple tanks can just gut punch this base right up here and then hit this base that we're getting a shot of now long before there's any way in a million years that ForGG is going to be able to do the same amount of damage.
Yeah. That was a little bit surprising. I mean, Percival had some good killer instinct there once again. And I mean, he's been about as wasteful with that bio as he could have been.
Well,
but it's such a better game for Percival.
This game, I think, is actually almost over here. I mean, it's hard to leapfrog tanks. That's why it's the one weakness they have is to siege and unsiege. And I mean, Percival's on 3 bases to ForGG's 1. And I mean, I know the mains are going to mine out very quickly here. All Percival has to do is stop the push, and the game grinds to a halt. Grinds to a halt with a Percival 3-1 victory.
He has 2 Liberators. It's like, impossible to lose this. Those Vikings are so low, you can literally kill them with the Liberators.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Percival's got it. Like, I liked a few of the things that we saw from ForGG, but yeah, I don't know. He didn't give Percival the proper respect, or he just didn't play well. I don't know exactly what to call it. I don't
Percival is the. I mean, get your expectations raised quite a bit here. Percival is looking pretty beastly. Here comes the second wave here, but you mentioned Liberators here.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you fight Liberators with what cannot attack air? How do you kill what cannot die?
Yeah. How do you shoot up when you can't shoot up?
How do you shoot up when you can only shoot down? Yeah, this is a wrap, man. That's so weird that he chose to counterattack with tanks. That's one of the fundamentals of mech versus bio, is that the advantage bio has is mobility and counterattacks.
Yeah.
And mech, once you finish all the pieces of the puzzle, you're going to have a stronger army. And if you can actually corner them and start to take fights, you pretty much win.
This ForGG just continually trying to attack here with his mech army. Of course, once again, there's like a single Liberator that just completely destroys him, unfortunately. A little bit of a Hellion counter. Thing is, if ForGG doesn't have anything going on at home, he could kill all the SCVs in this base and it doesn't matter.
ForGG could hope he kills that depot of his and then kills all of his own depots after that.
Yeah.
So we're in ForGG's death throes here.
He is the chicken without the head. He's
this
technically
is
still
Artosis.
alive, but what type of life is it?
This chicken will not stay alive for that long, all right?
Yeah.
He's a human without his head right now. GG, Percival wins that in record time.
That was pretty quick series. I mean, ForGG did end up taking down a game. I'm really hoping that ForGG sticks with it and comes back next season, because I think he obviously can be a strong Code S player. He's just such a, such a accomplished player from the past. It's just like tonight was not his night. He started to fight back some, but there were definitely questionable decisions in most of the games.
It is surprising to see TVT get that short unless we're seeing a little bit of a shift here. It seems like Percival, especially in the early game, just has a better handle. Maybe ForGG approaching with an older style. Still adapted a little bit, but in the end, Percival just has a better grasp on the matchup in general. We're going to go to an interview now, get it translated for you guys, and see how Percival is feeling.
Percival defeats ForGG, and he moves on to the round of 16. Okay, let's have an interview with him. Congratulations. Thank you. First of all, Percival, hello to you. So how do you feel qualifying for the round of 16 group nomination? Well, I practiced with Bunny and Maru, and during the practice I lost so much, so my confidence was gone. But today was so much easier than practice. Right now, you are the youngest member in GSL. So how much preparation did you make beforehand? Well, I played this game for 4 years. Yes, you have played for 4 years on StarCraft 2 and you made it to the round of 16 now. And while you're performing, it felt like you were very easy in mind. And your maneuvering was really smooth, and it felt like you were generally very confident today. So what changed? It definitely changed. Compared to my last GSL, it definitely changed. The race has changed, which matters the most. So against the likes of Maru or Bunny, it's really hard. But today, I try to play comfortably, like I play in ladder, and that's why I was able to win. And Percival, you just mentioned that you were able to win because the race was different. Okay. And as I said before, you are the youngest member. So why is Maru your role model? Well, I mean, he's awesome at the late game. I've been practicing with him, and even when I was ahead, he just came back in the late game. And it's just really fascinating how he plays. Well, that was quite unexpected. Maru's strength lies in his late game.
조성주 선수 장점.
So what's Maru's strength? He's generally just really good at the game.
simple 답변인데 그렇다면 현재 내 지금 실력은
Then
조성주 선수를 비롯한 기존 선수
your skills right now,
좀 어느 정도라고
compared to other
생각하세요?
players, including Maru, where do you think you're at?
거의 다못 이길 건 없고요.
네.
다 이길 수는 있는데 질 수도.
I think I have the potential to beat everyone, but at the same time, I have the potential to lose.
제일 못하는 것 같고요.
But I think I am the worst out of the players
그런 것 같아요.
right now.
그렇군요. 자, 오늘 바로 경기가 끝나면 조지명식이 있습니다.
And as soon as the second match ends, we're gonna have a group nomination. And this is your first time joining the group nomination.
눈치도 빨라야
And
되고
luck matters a lot, and battle of wits matters a lot in that as well.
필요가 없을 것 같아요. 왜냐면은
You know,
제일 16강
I don't think I should be too happy because I'm the worst player out of the 16 players. So I'm definitely gonna go to Group A for sure.
현실 판단 들어봤습니다.
Well, that is very
자,
realistic,
현 시점에서
Percival.
고마운 분들 있으실까요?
So right now, are you grateful to anyone?
지원 감사하고.
Well, I'm grateful to my team, Team MV, and thanks to Bunny and Maru for helping with the scrims.
마지막으로 스타투 팬분들께
And before you go, anything you want to say to StarCraft 2 fans?
이번 16강 목표가 16강이었는데.
Well, I mean, my objective for this season was the round of 16, but I'm gonna have an entertaining group nomination for sure.
재미있는 조지명식 기대하겠습니다.
Well, we look forward to your group
다시 한번
nomination,
축하드립니다.
Percival. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, man, it's never too late to start.
No, certainly not.
4 years
he's
of
been
playing.
coming up very, very quickly. Just more recently, he has been getting really good. So I'm excited to see how he does.
Yeah. Here's the information for the tickets. So they're going to go on sale on June 18th. There it is. Okay.
Yes.
They're going to go on sale at 5 p.m. KST on
Yes.
Friday. If you don't know what time KST is, Google it. Compare to your own time zone. $5 a ticket. That's about what 5,000 won is. If you get the tickets, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, don't forget your ID because they need your ID as well. So a Korean ID, if you have a visa here, a passport is fine
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Some kind of.
You guys know what a picture ID is.
You guys know what a picture ID is.
Yeah.
But
Don't bring any fake ones. We're great at sniffing out
That's
fake
right.
IDs.
That's right. We won't sell you any booze if that happens. Quick break. We come back. The final best of 5. We'll be right back.